if you're trying to use food to train your reactive dog, but distracting him just doesn't work, you're making the same mistake that pushes so many dog parents into using aversive or even abusive methods that are not necessary, because this mistake is very easy to avoid. So let me give you my 8 years of training experience with reactive dogs and my strategies to avoid this mistake. Now, I said distract with food on purpose, because as long as you try to distract your dog from other dogs, people, cars, whatever your dog's lunging, barking, growling at, your dog cannot learn. The distraction can work as a management strategy for when things get too close, when you find yourself in unexpected situations and you just don't know what else to do. Then you can use distractions and try to keep your dog from seeing whatever's happening. But that's not training. That's management. If you want your dog to learn to do something else, so anything other than lunging, barking, growling at people, dogs, cars, whatever, you need to get away from distracting. And that doesn't mean that you don't use food anymore. It just means you use it differently. Because what we really want food to be in our training is a reward. We don't want it to be a distraction. And the difference is, a distraction would be something that keeps our dogs from actually noticing and engaging with the monsters, right? So that's also the reason why our dogs cannot learn with a distraction, because they cannot actually process whatever's happening. And also, what very often happens is that we distract the dog and then the monster comes closer and closer and closer, and the dog notices the monster way too late. So the monster is way too close, and that's super, super scary for the dog. So the lunging, barking, growling is way more intense. And the next time the distraction works less, because the dog learns very quickly that whenever we try to distract, there is something bad happening. But the dogs do not learn what to do with the monster itself, right? If we use food as a reward, our dogs have to actually notice the monster first. So we have to keep a distance where our dogs are not going berserk. So we have to keep a reasonable distance in the beginning. We will get closer during training, right? Then we have to teach our dog, whenever you see this monster, good things are happening. That's when our food rewards come in. And if our dog's motivation for lunging, barking, growling is fear, which is the case in most cases, then we move away while we give the treat. So we have 2 rewards in one. And then we teach our dogs what they should do whenever they see a monster to feel better. And we reward our dogs for that. So the food becomes a reward either for looking at the monster, looking away from the monster, looking at you, or doing something more productive than lunging, barking, growling, right? So what we get is a dog who participates, who processes, and who actually gets a strategy that makes more sense for us humans than lunging, barking, growling. For the dog, the outcome is pretty much the same. So lunging, barking, growling makes the monster disappear. Same as if we ask our dogs to go sniff and the monster walks away as well, right? But for us, it's way more comfy if our dogs sniff than if our dogs go berserk. So you see, the problem is not the food. And if your dog cannot eat outside, that's a stress level issue. It's not a training issue, and it's not that force-free training doesn't work. It's just a stress level issue. So you have to address the stress level first. It's actually pretty cool if you can see that your dog won't eat. So that's an indicator for you that there is something going on that you can actually do something about. And if you don't use any kind of reward, you will never know, right? Now, there are different rewards. So your dog might not always find food that rewarding. Like we said, sometimes walking away is a higher value reward than food. But food is most easy to use for us humans. So I would not get rid of food completely. Try to see what's valuable for your dog, and never forget that there are many different ways you can offer food to your dog, right? You can throw it, you can let your dog sniff for it, you can give it from your hand, you can scatter it, and so on. Tell me in the comments if you knew the difference between rewarding and distracting. I would love to know, because I see very often that those two are mixed up. And if you want to see an example of a strategy that you could train with your dog for reactivity that takes you only 10 minutes a day, watch this.